I'm joined now by two relatively new Irish exporters. Grainne Kelly from BubbleBum, which is based in Derry, and Edmund O'Reilly from Trustwater, which operates out of Clonmel. Grainne, tell me about your business.
I had an idea.
What?
Well, I actually had been travelling myself with my own children, and that was where the idea came from in the first place. And what happened was I was travelling back and forward when my mother-in-law was ill, and we were back and forward to England quite a bit. And my children were at the age whereby they needed to use a booster seat. So every time I arrived to the car hire desk, having pre-booked the car booster seat in advance, they were saying to me, "I'm sorry, we don't have them." But of course, you know the size of the car hire desk booths in the airport. They're very, very small, so they don't actually have anywhere to store them, which is why they didn't have them. So I came home and decided that I was going to invent my own, only for myself. And then I realised that there were so many other people, clients of mine, were having the same problems.
So you had this idea, you're going to invent your own car booster seat. I mean, you can get them in so many places, they're very fixed kind of things. What were you going to do that was different?
Because mine was inflatable, it was portable. So you could roll it up and stick it back in your bag again.
And so you invented BubbleBum.
I did, a bubble for your bum, George.
And how is it? Is it like a bubble? Is it like a balloon?
It is. There's an inflatable bladder and there's memory foam in it as well, which creates a structural stability.
Oh, so this isn't a case of going home and getting a balloon and sticking some foam around it?
No, do not try this at home would be the answer to that, George. No. And also the webbing and the seatbelt positioner clips on the side position the lap belt on the child as well, so it doesn't rise up onto the abdomen.
Oh, so this is very technical then. It sounds simple at one level, but very technical at another level in terms of the standards that you would have to reach. How did you go about this?
I asked a million questions, and somebody just asked me yesterday if my Irishness contributed to my success, and I will say 150% yes, because I'm a woman, number one, and I'm Irish, number two. I can ask every stupid question in the book and I can continue smiling. It's an expectation from other people that a woman will ask stupid questions, so I can get away with it and I don't care. And that's exactly how I got the answers that I needed.
So what kind of stupid questions had you got to ask?
Well, I rang up the testing lab the first day and of course I couldn't get anybody to speak English. So I proceeded to go through and I eventually got speaking to an Italian man who was living in New York for a while, so he could speak English. And he started talking and all this lingo and hick values, and I said, "Listen here, you need to talk to me as if I'm 3. Explain this to me as if I'm a 3-year-old." And that is exactly what I did. Even in consultations with banks, I went in and my rules were no abbreviations, please. Please explain it. I don't understand.
And so you made people speak English to you?
Yeah.
So you have this product, you're going to get it made actually. Where do you get it made?
We manufacture in China.
And how did you decide to do that, or how did you go about that? Because you're living in Derry, you have this idea, and first thing you think is we manufacture it in China.
What I did was I actually went into a toy store and I went round everything inflatable in the store and they were all manufactured in China. That's exactly how I ended up in China.
So you, again, opened your mouth, asked questions.
I did, of course. How do I get
there? Who do I speak to?
That's what I'm best at, asking questions and delegating, George.
Okay, so you find your manufacturer in China. And how is the business going for you now? Because, well, firstly, it's new, isn't it? How new is it?
We are 17 months young.
What?
We are in 17 countries worldwide and we have 13 global e-commerce platforms.
17 countries already in 17 months.
And we actually signed Russia yesterday.
That's a very big advance in a short period of time.
It is. I don't sleep, George. Can you not tell? Do you look at me? I don't sleep.
And in terms of 17 countries, how much in each country, for instance? Is it 1 or 2, or are they big orders?
Well, I'll tell you, in our first year, we sold in excess of 60,000 units, and that was only within Europe, and that was really only branching into Europe. Our e-commerce platform goes live in the US now in 2 weeks' time. And we've already taken pre-orders for that as well.
No, I'll have to ask the stupid question. You say your e-commerce platform. That sounds
my website.
Like an
I only learned that word last week, I thought it sounded more clever.
You have to remember where you came from. You keep asking these non-abbreviated questions. So you got a website which is very good for selling the product internationally. What's the website called?
It's BubbleBum.co.uk.
And the response to that has been good.
It has been fantastic. It has been fantastic, I have to say.
You have 17 countries. Where are they?
Oh, you were going to ask me that question.
I mean, they're in Europe, I presume.
They are, well, not necessarily. No, we're in New Zealand. We are right across Europe. We're also in Singapore, so we're in Asia, Europe, and the UK and New Zealand. As I say, we're launching now in the US. We are finalising our deal in South Africa. We have just signed Russia, and we are waiting on the government in Brazil to give us our piece of paper so that we can start distributing in Brazil.
The American market, was it difficult to break into?
It was actually, it would have been very difficult to break into had I not have gone to America, and the reason I went was because I was finding it so difficult to understand all the jargon, and I was ringing up the testing lab and saying, can you explain this, can you explain this, can you do this for me, can you do this for me, and then, yeah, we'll get back to you in 2 weeks' time. And I thought, 2 weeks? Oh, you answer the questions today. I want to know today, because I always want to know today, George. I don't work by the calendar, I work by the clock. And I always want to know today. So I wasn't getting any answers, and in February I said to my husband, I said, oh, we're going to America. And he went, oh, that's lovely, darling. And I went, we're going for the business. And he went, oh, not on holidays then? And I went, no, we are all going, dog included, and we are going for as long as it takes until I can get this sorted. So that's exactly what we did.
Well, 17 months in 17 countries with a new product, which is basically an inflatable seat for kids to boost their height in a car. That is one hell of a performance. And Edmund O'Reilly, you have a different company, Trustwater, which is doing very well in the export market too. What's Trustwater?
Trustwater is a business based in Clonmel, and we've developed a technology that replaced traditional detergents and sanitizers, effectively in a wide range of commercial and industrial applications. So our technology will replace the bought-in chemical requirement, say, of a food and beverage manufacturing plant, of even a restaurant, and we're even installed in applications such as water disinfection and so on.
But how do you have a disinfectant without a chemical?
Well, it's considered a non-chemical means because the inputs into our technology are merely water and salt. And what the technology does then, through a patented process, is it reconstitutes those inputs into other solution types, which are, again, one solution stream is a detergent and the other one is a disinfectant.
Wow. And when did you start in this business?
This one was back in 2003.
Where?
Based in Clonmel from the outset, in fact. I came across the technology while working in Poland, in fact, at the time. I was based over there throughout the late 90s. The friend of a father was the dean. At the time, he was the dean of the Faculty of Physics in Wrocław University. We were out for dinner one night. He mentioned this technology that had just been patented. So I took a keen interest in it, tracked the inventor down through the patent offices, and over a period of time, we actually acquired the patent rights. So we actually bought the patent rights and brought them back to Ireland for commercialisation.
And how are you commercialising it? How is it working so far? How's it going?
Well, it's going well. These things never happen as quickly as you'd like. What we're doing is complicated, but thankfully now we're out in the market and it's really a sales and marketing play at this stage.
Well, so in terms of your clients, are they Irish, some of them, or are they all international?
Yeah, our first clients were Irish. Actually, our first client of them all was actually Queely Group, where we installed in one of their plants in Naas. Since then in Ireland, we've installed in quite a number of HSE hospitals for waterline disinfection. More recently, though, our main markets are overseas, so we export 95% of what we manufacture.
Where?
At the stage, all over: China, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Brazil, Mexico, obviously North America, Europe, and that as well.
And so far, are you making money, do you think?
Not yet, but we're going in the right direction anyway.
What about employment?
We employ 25. We'll probably take that 35 by the end of this year into 2012. And I suppose if we deliver on our business plans, ultimately it'll be hopefully significantly more than that again.
This is great news. What about you, Grainne, in terms of, because if you're in 17 countries after 17 months, how many people are you employing, or are you employing people?
Yeah, well, there are 5 of us at the moment, a very small core team, but we outsource everything. Absolutely everything that we can outsource, we outsource. Now, I do realise that we do need to bring on more staff at the moment, and we will be doing that this year. But we don't plan, because we don't actually manufacture in Ireland. It's different for us. we don't actually need 300 staff to manufacture, for example.
And in terms of making money, you are making money at this stage if you're in 17 countries, I presume?
Yes, well, we were in profit in our first year, which I'm very pleased to say.
Wow, the bank is fairly happy about that. What about getting bank money?
So the banks are never happy. Huh? I'm only joking.
But you had a new idea. It came out of the blue. I presume you had to go and find finance to develop this idea. Did you?
No.
Did you go to banks?
No, I didn't know. We used our own savings initially. I think it's very difficult at the minute approaching the banks for anything. And I have to say, it is very difficult for anybody approaching the bank, whether you're in business or not. At the moment, it's very difficult.
Well, given your experience, your 17 months of fantastic experience, including 10 months living in America now, would you have any advice to people who have ideas or who are thinking about maybe there's something else I can do, maybe I'm not happy in my job, or maybe I can contribute more in terms of setting up a business? From your experience, would you say anything to them?
I would actually. I mean, I think a lot of people think that they have to have this big, long, thought-out strategy and they have to have it all documented and everything they've got to do, and they've got to do business plans. Really, for me, the important goal for me, and I was just saying actually yesterday that in June of 2009, I actually took a note to myself that BubbleBum will be a global brand, and that for me was an expectation. As I say, the same way that you would expect Christmas would fall in the month of December, that was my expectation of me and my company. So I think what you've got to do is you've got to set yourself a goal and look at all the different angles and different ways you can get to that goal. And there are so many things that are going to appear in your path along the way that aren't necessarily what you would have chosen. But I do believe that only the right thing can happen, and that's in business as well, because there are so many obstacles that have presented themselves to me that have only pointed me in other directions, which have led to success.
And in terms of your experience, Edmund, would you have any advice for people with ideas? Because you come from nowhere, and it sounds to me like great potential in terms of the international potential of that business that you've got.
Yes, well, certainly hearing Grainne speak, I'd suggest try and mirror what she's done. If you could identify a product with a real need, minimize the upfront investment basically to what you can put into it yourself and get into profit within the first year. That's obviously the ideal. But apart from that, I think it takes enthusiasm, it takes passion. The country is in a difficult place at the moment. There are certain people out there who have more time on their hands than they might otherwise want. So, get up and do it. The country needs entrepreneurs at present. It needs people who are prepared to actually take that risk, take that personal gamble, and get out there and do it. Again, it's tough times, so and certainly more difficult now in some regards than it was a couple of years ago. Like the banks simply don't have the resources to lend, so you're going to have to do it with whatever resources you can muster up yourself. But take your idea, get up to Enterprise Ireland or the County Enterprise Board and talk about it.
Be like Grainne, ask loads of questions and keep smiling and get whatever information you can out of them. Grainne, for the future, are you hopeful, or what are your plans now for the future?
Oh, I don't know what my plans are for the afternoon, George, at that stage. No, actually, it was just something very interesting that you were saying there. We were talking about innovation and entrepreneurship in Ireland, and I had a talk with the girls in St Mary's College in Derry this week, and it was just very interesting because I don't think they understood how. I think a lot of people see these ideas and they go, how did you think on that and how did you think on that? But everybody has these ideas, and a really good example that I gave to the girls was, a lot of you are having ideas on a daily basis and you're not recognising them. You're not seeing the opportunity because you're not recognising the opportunity in it. And to see, for example, I gave them the example of the fake tan mitt. Now, you boys might not know what a fake tan mitt is, but basically it's a mitt that you use to apply your fake tan.
I know.
And I explained to the girls, have you been wearing the fake tan, George?
No, but I have a daughter who has.
So I explained to the girls, I said, somebody had to come up with that idea. So what they did was they were solving a problem. They used a rubber glove, and then, of course, you had to use a sponge as well. So somebody put the two together to make a fake tan mitt. It's as simple as that. I said, I'm quite sure that you're involved in maybe 2 or 3 or more processes in your day-to-day life that you're not recognising that you're actually inventing on a daily basis. And I think for them to recognise that is a really big step.
So everybody has it in them.
Everybody has it in them.
You're so optimistic. Well, I really do hope that you go from strength to strength.
Thank you.
Grainne, and you too, Edmund, and thank you both very much for coming in. And I think the country will be delighted to see the success of both businesses so quickly and the employment which it brings. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George.
The Business on RTE